Here's the truth. Most project failures don't come as a result of poor planning. It is due to poor communication. Your ability to communicate effectively as a project leader, as a project manager, is not just a skill. It is your superpower because it determines the success of your project. It determines how your team members negotiate with you. They feel motivated due to your communication. In those moments where everyone feels down, the way you communicate determines the outcome of your project. In today's episode, I want to dive deep into effective communication as a project leader, how you can master it because it is non-negotiable. As a project leader, you have to know how to communicate. You need to understand how to communicate because that is what determines your project success. It determines your team partnership negotiations. It determines how everyone relates with you, and that is what builds your career. Most people are going to perceive you as a leader due to the way you communicate, due to the way you reach out to them and share your meetings, your ideas. Let's dive deep into it. Now, you might be asking yourself, why does communication really matter? The reality is, every project you are going to work on deals with a network of people, and people have expectations. Deliverables are required from every project. Here is the reality. If you work in a team where everyone doesn't understand their role, even the best plans are going to break. Now think about this for a second. Have you ever been in a team where almost everyone was never on the same page? Exactly. The truth is, when you communicate effectively, when communication is clear, people understand their roles. Productivity increases. Everyone builds trust, right? The more you communicate effectively, that productivity is going to increase. That is the reality of communication. Now, what is the cost of poor communication? It doesn't just cost you your timelines, your deadlines. It costs your time, money spent, energy, and sometimes even your relationship. Now, you need to think of, or just imagine a team where the developer doesn't understand the description. They don't understand their role. The designer goes and makes changes without approval. The client is expecting something different. Imagine that kind of team. What is going to be the output of that team? Failure. And what is it going to cost? Money, energy, time, relationship. There is lack of communication. It doesn't matter how brilliant your plan was. Your team is going to break, and the outcome of it is failure. What makes a project manager an effective communicator? It's not talking too much. It's about listening clearly, thoroughly explaining. You need to make sure that your ideas are clearly explained. Asking questions to make sure that there is proper understanding. You need to tailor your tone to match that of your audience. Don't go and communicate to people who cannot resonate with what you are saying. The reality is, communication is a two-way something. You need to make sure you are communicating with them and they are resonating with you. It's not just about giving instruction. Now, how can you make this more effective? You need to make sure that you adapt to their communication style. Some people prefer just casual updates, normal conversation. Some people prefer thorough explanation. You explain to them very well. Some people just prefer sending an update via an email or WhatsApp, whatever channel you're using with them. But the truth is, you need to ask yourself, do I really understand my stakeholders? Do I really understand their communication channel? How do they prefer their information to come across? You need to ask yourself this as an effective communicator, as a leader, as a project manager, because at the end, you're accountable for that project. If they don't understand their ideas, if they don't understand what you're trying to pass across, then you're already failing. You need to make sure that you effectively communicate. Do it over and over. If it takes time, that is the best option. You need to explain over and over to make sure that the message is passed across. Now, I need you to take this from me. Effective communication isn't just about words. It's about the tone, the patience, the awareness. You need to be aware of what people are going through. A great project manager always senses that point of frustration, that point of confusion, that point where people need help. They are going through a lot of burnout. You will bear with me that if you have ever had to escalate due to emotional awareness, where emotional intelligence comes in, you will know the importance of being aware of where your team is going through or what they are going through. And the reality is, you cannot escalate properly and respond properly if you are not aware of your tone of communication, the patience, the awareness, the frustration, the confusion. You need to be aware of all these things in order for you to effectively communicate. And the next thing that you can do to make sure that this communication goes across the proper way is making sure that you seek feedback. Feedback that provides that information that you need, because it is in that information that you will use to gain the clarity that you have been looking for in that project. Once you get the clarity, strategy comes in, but the foundation is built on how you communicate with the audience. If you put them in a situation where they always feel frustrated, they cannot give their ideas to you, there will be no effective communication. So you need to make sure that you tailor it in a way that your audience can resonate. And one very important thing that you need to understand is regular check-ins. Daily stand-up is an effective way to make sure that your projects are moving forward. Weekly reviews is very important. You need to make sure that there is a formality in such a way that people can predict the information that you're going to give to them. Because once you build that relationship with your team members, there is always that predictability when it comes to effective communication. Now, you need to understand that communication is not just a skill, it's a mindset. It builds trust, it builds that empathy, and it influences people. A great project manager who communicates effectively builds a great team. The project manager influences people. The outcome of their project is always success. Your project will never fail if you communicate effectively. And the plans that you have, if there is lack of communication, those plans are going nowhere. Effective communication is a mindset. And if anything that I've shared with you today resonated, if it sparked a thought, a question, or even just a feeling, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. And my promise to you, alongside with my team, is to consistently bring you real, honest, and valuable content that helps you figure out project management, leadership, effective communication, one conversation at a time. Thank you for being here.